We're back with another edition of Sundays with Serby, and this week New York Post sports columnist Steve Serby, he caught up with New York Giants offensive lineman Jermaine Eluemunor, and we don't know what we do know as we catch up with Steve. I was going to say we don't know what he's going to be wearing this week. Could be a white blazer, but this week Steve has stepped up the style. How you doing, Steve?
Well, thank you. This week, again, another little trip to Men's Warehouse right around the corner from me. Got 2 jackets for $119 and change. Didn't buy the pants with them, but for this segment, I don't need the pants. I mean, I am wearing pants, but I didn't need those pants.
I'm disappointed.
So you like it?
I'm a little disappointed you didn't buy the whole suit. I'm also disappointed you keep shouting out Men's Warehouse, and they do not sponsor this segment. But Men's Warehouse, if you'd like to, we will gladly take some checks. We will definitely do that. Right, Steve? I'm sure we would.
As a matter of fact, I will send this to Men's Warehouse or deliver it personally and show them how fond we are of Men's Warehouse.
Yeah, and how stylish you're looking as well, too. Glad to see the style for the second week in a row. I don't think Steve has ever brought this much style to this segment, but 2 weeks in a row, which means Zach Brazilla out there, you got to step your game up. You got to step your game up. We're calling on you to step your game up. But Steve, in your Q&A this week, when you spoke with Jermaine, he opened up about almost quitting football twice due to depression. How did he describe his lowest moments, and what stood out to you about his resilience during those times as he got back to playing football?
Well, he deserves all the credit in the world. 2020, the New England Patriots didn't like their style of coaching. 2023, he had a nightmare game against Khalil Mack, totally lost his confidence, didn't feel he was worthy, didn't feel he belonged in the NFL. And then he called Lane Johnson from the Philadelphia Eagles, the right tackle. And Lane Johnson had battled depression, and Johnson directed him to a mental coach named Brian Kane, and that was a life-changing experience for Eluemunor. He now meditates twice before a game. He speaks or texts to his mental coach on a weekly and sometimes daily basis with Zoom calls, and he watches videos of Georges St-Pierre and Mike Tyson, who talk about lacking confidence on their way into the ring. But once they get into the ring and stare down their opponents, then they feel otherworldly. They feel as if no one can beat them. And Eluemunor now does the same thing. He eyes his opponents up before games, and once they look away, he knows he's got them where he wants them. So credit to him. Look, my father, my late father, the great Harold Serby, had depression, battled depression for off and on for his whole life. I saw what it did to the family. I saw what it did to my mother, who was a trooper in every sense of the word. And for Eluemunor to come out on the other side is a credit to him. And don't forget, April 25th, he lost his friend Corey Cunningham to suicide. Cunningham obviously had battled depression. So, and Cunningham was a groomsman at Eluemunor's wedding. That's how close they were. So good for anyone that can deal with depression and overcome it. And it's a constant battle. Believe me, I know for a fact. And he has managed to overcome it. And now he's getting ready to thrive as a New York Giant.
Yeah, and Steve, thank you for sharing that story about your family and your dad, and even with Jermaine Eluemunor, who you got to speak to. You never know what somebody's going through, but it is beautiful when you can see people get the help that they need to overcome something as challenging as depression. And Jermaine spoke to you about his renewed confidence and determination to be great. How does he believe his personal transformation, which you just spoke about, how does he believe that can help this Giants team in 2024?
Well, the Giants team on the offensive line has needed help ever since Dave Gettleman arrived and vowed to fix the offensive line. And the Giants are still working to fix the offensive line. Evan Neal, obviously, the 7th pick of Joe Shane's first draft, 2 picks after Kayvon Thibodeau, has not panned out. And the Giants do not know if he can overcome his injury history and reclaim his starting right tackle job That's why Eluemunor is here. Eluemunor can play right guard, right tackle, left guard. They don't need him to play left tackle because of Andrew Thomas. But remember, he gets to practice every day against Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence. And he is driven now to be great. He wants to be great, not only for himself, but for his 6-month-old daughter, Arabella. He wants to leave a legacy that she can be proud of and he can be proud of. And he wants to dominate. He's all about dominating the man in front of him. And like I said, if he stares the guy in front of him down and the other guy blinks or looks the other way, he knows he's got him. So the Giants trust him. And Daniel Jones obviously needs trusted offensive linemen because a year ago, the Giants allowed 85 sacks. Jones was running for his life. Obviously, played only 6 games, couldn't stand up to it. And for Daniel Jones to have any chance at success, any chance at holding on to his dream job as Giants franchise quarterback, the offensive line will have to keep him upright. And that's why Eluemunor is such an important piece for Daniel Jones and Brian Daboll.
Yep, we will see what Eluemunor can do for the New York Giants this season. Fantastic story, fantastic Q&A by the great Steve Serby this week on nypost.com. Go check that out. Also, a fantastic blazer delivered by Steve for the 2nd week in a row. We will see what he's able to do if he can make it 3 weeks in a row. A lot of pressure on you now, Steve, to become stylish, Steve, and keep up the streak. A lot of S's there, too. Nice
well, all I can say is, look, I am ready to threaten DiMaggio's streak. How's that?
All right. You got a little work to do. You got a little work to do, but I like the starter streak. I appreciate it.
I'm just trying to go drip to drip, drip for drip with Dexter Henry.
Wow. Drip is another word I never thought I would hear from you, but I'm glad to hear it. I am definitely glad to hear it. Like the drip, Steve. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks.